Alright, so this video is on accuracy. So accuracy is about the reliability, truthfulness, and correctness of the content. So in order to figure out how reliable, truthful, or correct the content is, we have to figure out where does that information come from. Is this information coming from a .edu website, a .gov website, something that could be reliable with a good authority? Or is it coming from some sort of blog post that could potentially be someone's opinion, not actual facts? We also want to make sure that the accuracy is supported by evidence. The best way to show that they're supported by evidence is there's some sort of source given for that information. So we found this in this book. Here's the quote, the citation for this book. We have to make sure this information is actually given where it's coming from. We can't just say some sort of quote and then assume that the person pulled it from someplace. They could be completely making it up. So we have to actually find their source and make sure that somewhere they're referencing it in their paper. Otherwise, accuracy is awful. We have no way to prove it, thus it's bad. Even if it's good, if they don't prove it, it's still bad. So next up is how's the information being reviewed or referred to? So who is this information coming from? Is the authority giving, a quotation or some sort of source for this information? Or are they just kind of making it up and saying it as they go? So make sure that the information is accurate to look at where the information is coming from. And also, a lot of the time, in order to figure out where this information is coming from, you're probably going to be able to verify that. So if you want to know if that information is true, part of the reason that we want to check 2 to 3 sources for the relevance over here is because if we check them, we can figure out whether it's accurate if they all agree. If 2 of those sources have different information, then it's probably not accurate. But if all 3 have the same, then it's probably accurate. So you have to verify that information in order to make sure that it's accurate. You can even verify that with your personal knowledge, but if it doesn't make sense, it's probably not accurate. Does the language or tone seem unbiased and free of emotion? So this is one of the hardest things about the accuracy, and the easiest way to think about that is if you were to go to McDonald's and you were to ask someone at McDonald's, how are your hamburgers? The person working there is going to be like, yo, our hamburgers are great. But that doesn't mean that that information is accurate because the person who's giving you that information works there. They're getting paid to work there. So their information is not unbiased, but it is biased. They have an opinion that they're trying to sell on you. And if they're trying to sell something to you, then they have a motive, an agenda. So it is not going to be free of emotion. They want to make money off of you. So in order for the information to be accurate, it really has to come from some sort of .gov or some sort of .edu website generally, because if it is from edu, pardon my spelling, then it is not trying to sell you something, it is just trying to educate you. And if the source of the information, the accuracy is the goal is to educate you, it is going to be more accurate and not biased. Lastly, check to make sure there's no errors. The more errors there are, the less credible that website's accuracy is most likely going to be. And the last thing that I want to mention for accuracy that has to do with seeming unbiased and free of emotion is think about whether or not a website is trying to sell you something. If it's ever trying to sell you something, it cannot be accurate because it has a motivation to do so. Like if you were to go onto a website such as LensCrafters. A LensCrafter sells contact glasses, but part of the website is trying to teach you about what might you need in glasses. That information may be trying to educate you on it, but it is also trying to sell you those same contacts in the website. So just by the fact that it's trying to sell you stuff, you have to double check different sources to make sure that that information is valid. Otherwise, our assumption is it's trying to sell us it and we can't trust it, even if it's good information. So in order to determine accuracy, check multiple sources and make sure that you're able to verify that information with the authority and with multiple websites.